Going back to Houston, what was, I know Adam touched on like the transition and stuff like that, but for me, when you get in there, Fitz was your first quarterback, right?
Yes. Yep. Fitzy was there. We had Schaub, and it had already been decided before I got the job that they were going to move on from Schaub.
Yeah.
So they moved on from Schaub, and then we had several free agents, and I thought Fitzy was the best one for that.
So then like coming into that, you talked about all the scheduling and stuff like that. Obviously, though, you had a ton of experience with arguably one of the best ran organizations in the history of sports, let alone football. And I always say this, I feel like you have your a little bit of the Belichick in you, but you are also your own guy, which I think allowed you to have success as a head guy, unlike some other guys that came out of that program.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that.
No, I do. I always say, like, I think, whether it's your home life with Jack and stuff like that, whatever it is, I felt like you always had kind of like a centering about you, where it was like, I like some of this stuff, but it's not me. I'm going to be me and come into it. How much of that, when you got to Houston, again, with the complete shift in schedule and stuff like that, did you feel you implemented? Because I think,
Yeah, that's an awesome question. And that, I probably should have said this as part of the answer to AB's question. That's one thing in pro football, as like you have, you have the general manager and you have the head coach, and there's two divisions, right? Now they work together to form the team, to put the team together, but sometimes they don't always see eye to eye. Like, it doesn't mean that one side's wrong. Yeah, there's a lot. That's right. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and maybe this person doesn't really agree with the way some of the things we did in New England, which was the only pro organization I knew, and maybe I didn't always agree with how they had done it in Houston before. And Gary Kubiak, who's a really good friend of mine, became a friend of mine when I went there. He did a great job in Houston, right? They had really good success with him. But sometimes those ideas don't always mesh. And I think that's where I've actually grown a lot. Like that, sometimes, hey, maybe this idea is better than what maybe you did in another place. So don't try to force it. And I think when I first went in there, that was a big adjustment, was like, oh, hey, this is the way we did it in New England. A lot of people in the National Football League don't want to hear about how you did it in New England.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there were better ways to kind of implement things. If I could go back and do it again, I would change that. Now, we won a lot. We won 4 division titles there. We went to the playoffs. We didn't get to where we wanted to go to. We had some disappointing losses. But yeah, I think in the end, coming here now to BC, this is my 3rd head coaching job, and having learned a lot of lessons about how to work with people and think about what they're saying, I think I'm much better off at doing those things than I was, let's just call it 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Even at Penn State, when I went to Penn State, there was a lot of like, hey, this is the way we've done it for 55, 60 years. I'm like, I don't care. This is the way we do it.
That place doesn't
there was a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a good way to do it. I mean, Joe won a lot of games. You know what I mean? So I think I've learned a lot of lessons, over the years on those types of things. That's a great question, though.
Yeah.